Whether you're leading for the first time, leading through change, or learning to lead all over again, this space is for you. No fluff, no gimmicks, just real talk from those who've led through challenges, adapted under pressure, and thrived in the face of change. Welcome to Command to Corporate, where leadership isn't just taught, it's lived. Let's get to work. All right, welcome back, everybody. How are y'all doing? We are your host, LP and T, for
What's
Command
up,
to
y'all?
Corporate. T, how we doing?
Pretty good, brother. How you doing?
I'm good, man. The weather's nice, even though I think they said
Yeah.
was going to come in later
Mm.
this evening. So, and I think they said it might bring hail. So, definitely gonna put the car.
Hail?
Yeah, I saw it on
Oh
the
shoot!
news. It said potentially hail. So,
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
yeah, I mean, maybe it could always change, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to get the car all dinged up or whatever. So, definitely
Wow. Okay. Now that's good to know.
you don't want to be out and about and
Nah.
on and you getting tore up. Like, no.
Hell yeah. No, I've been caught one time, and that was horrible. I'm
Yeah.
like, all I hear is ding. Every ding, I hear dollar signs. That's all I heard. I was damn.
100, 200.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I mean, the
Oh,
weather's, I mean, I actually got in the pool yesterday, man, for the first time.
nice.
It was chill, it was about 80 degrees, but in that heat
Mhm.
yesterday, man, that thing felt good. I was like,
Oh,
ooh,
imagine.
yeah, and it was refreshing to just be able to take a dip out back. I'm like, man, unbelievable. Love the life.
Yeah. That's pretty good life, man. The apartment life is not quite the same. Yeah,
Just got to share.
yeah. We got a pool. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's everybody's half my age, so I'm like,
Who's
I'm not going out there.
who's grandpa by the pool?
Yeah, I'm not trying to go out there.
All right. Any other plans this weekend? I mean, we're already into, you know,
Sunday,
getting kind
man.
of towards the late after. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely getting ready for tomorrow.
I'm
So,
done. And
okay.
now that you told me there's help, I'm not leaving the house.
All right. Okay. Well, we'll jump into it. So
Yes,
today's
sir.
topic, we are talking about leaders not operating at their level. I say again, leaders not operating at their level. And we're going to just jump right in. So, first question, what does operating at your level mean?
Mm.
And for me, I mean, we hear it in the military, like staying in your lane, for one, like doing your
Mm.
job. But
Yeah.
if it's like, if you're going to be a VP, senior direct, whatever, manager, what does that mean in your space? What should you be focusing on? What should be your job? What should have your attention? All of those things and operating as such. So the higher you go, the more strategic you are. Lower you
Oh,
are,
that's true.
more
Yeah.
tactical. So
Yeah.
it's like at a certain point, you got to let go of some of the nitty gritty day to day things and look at things from a more holistic level. But it's
Mm.
really in a general sense. And those out there listening, like put it in, like use Google, whatever AI to say, what does it mean to do that? And at your level, what does that mean to operate?
Yeah.
Where should you be focused? And even get more granular. What is the space you're in? What is your role? Do you have employees? All of that. And focus on staying in your space.
Hmm.
What do you think
Yeah.
for you?
No, I agree. Especially, like if you're a position where you should be a strategic leader, are you thinking that long term versus short term, right? I think a lot of us get stuck in the short term thinking just because that's where maybe we came from. But that's a good point. But also, I think another way of I looked at it is really, are you honest with yourself and are you operating to what you're qualified for, the level that you are, right? Are you minimally qualified for the job is another way of like looking at it.
Mm.
Um, I know some people maybe slightly embellish their resumes, right? And to get a job, and then they realize, and everybody realizes like, yeah, you're not qualified for that job, you know?
Yeah.
Um, And it's like, you think about it, you gotta be honest with yourself, you could embellish your resume and get a job, but, like, it's going to be a very big struggle for that person, It's like, they probably feel like they're faking that position.
Mhm. Well,
People
they are faking it.
Yeah, that's true, that's a good point, yeah. Yeah, they you are fake, and that has to be a struggle for people, You're like, you're underperforming, your peers are passing you by, and people are wondering why aren't you doing your job, right? So, like, that's another way of looking at it. So be mindful, I guess, when you take on a new role or a new position, like, be honest, like, are you going to perform in that job? So look at what the people are doing or the person before you has been doing and be honest, like, do I really want to do this job? Am I qualified for that job? Um, and so it's interesting because I've had to do this in the past, right? So I was in a accelerated leadership development program, and I'm looking at my, you know, 2 year down the line position, where what my boss was doing, and I looked at it, I was like, I don't think I want to do that job. One, I'm not really qualified for that job. I may get qualification over the time, but I don't see it. It's not something that I really want to do either. I could have just stuck with the program and gotten to that position and was just maybe fake the funk or I don't know. But like, yeah, I was like, that's not my level. I don't want to be there. I don't want to do it. So that kind of a bit, sucked a bit, because I had to like, admit to myself, I'm like, yeah, I can't do that job. But
Mhm.
I think I'm happier for it because I was not in a position where I hated my work, because otherwise I would have hated what I was doing, hated my coworkers. My coworkers would have hated me for dragging. Anyway, yeah, that's the other way I kind of looked at it.
And I think if you're going to step in something like you're going to take that leap to move up,
Mm,
like you say, understand what comes with that and
mhm,
rise to that occasion and know
true.
that you're going to have to put on a different hat, operate at a different level, but do that. Don't move in because you want the money, but
Yeah,
you don't take the approach to actually move up in mental when it
exactly.
comes to the work you do, your mindset, which kind of leads us to the next question. Why do leaders stay too tactical? And I think they
Mm,
don't move up. They don't truly embrace the role.
mm,
This goes back to we had a conversation before where people were very good individual contributors, and then all of a
yeah.
sudden, luck has it, they get into this higher level role. Your mindset doesn't change. You still about I'm gonna do all the work. You don't know how to delegate, and that's where you stay
Mm,
too tactical, wanting to know things that it's like, why do you want to know that? Give you an example. Like
yeah.
I have, like a for example, a team has a mailbox where
Mm,
employees can maybe ask questions, and you literally have a VP, vice president, or a senior vice president wanting access to the mailbox to see what people, for one, what people are asking, and then to see like who's responding, how they're responding. Like you don't have anything else better to do than to look. You want to actually know that. Why
mm,
would you want to do that? But and then think that it's okay. And I'm like, for you to think that it's okay is a problem. If you
mm.
think that that's all right to do. And I remember I've had instances where I've mentioned stuff and they'll say, "Oh, we'll get there." No, 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 no. No. We don't. We're not gonna. We don't plan to. We get there. Like you switch. You know
Ah,
how in the military, when we
yeah.
get promoted, you switch. You are
Mm,
no longer doing that job that you were doing. That's why you go to a school. You learn how to act in that new role, in your new level. Learn what's in your lane, and you stay in it because you now have
mm.
someone that's now backfilled you, and that's their lane. Stay out of their business. What's your business? And focus on your business.
Hmm. Yeah, no, that's a good way of looking at it. Yeah, yeah. I think to me, when I think of why people stay tactical, I think it's kind of we all come maybe as individual contributors, and we get very good at a job, and like we really focus on it, right? And I think this is kind of one of the first times where you really get good recognition for doing a good job, right? And so you're like, man, I'm being recognized and it feels good. So you work a little bit harder and get a little better. And then all of a sudden you're thrown into a whole new world, like become a people manager, for example. And now you have to it's a bigger picture you're looking at, right? But a lot of times it's difficult if the transition to people manager is not smooth, or is not like you don't receive any kind of training or prep, then it becomes difficult. So when it comes difficult, like I mean, honestly, we all kind of revert back to what we know during difficult
Mhm.
times, right? And so I think that's why it's just easier. But also being a strategic thinker is difficult because you end up doing a lot of making a lot of decisions based on calculated risk, right? Because there's a lot of uncertainty in the future, especially if you're thinking long term, and you're always saying, like I don't know what the future holds, but like I think this may happen, or here's a risk I'm willing to accept or not. And so that is very, very difficult as well. And so it's if you haven't done it before, it can be scary, right? Because you have a lot of responsibility, and you're just like it may feel like you're guessing at times because there's a lot of unknowns in the future.
And I think you bring up a good point where you once were recognized as an individual contributor, and it's like the harder I
Mm.
work, the better, the more I'm recognized, and more
Yes.
people
Yeah,
say,
yeah,
"Hey,
yeah.
great job," and all this stuff. But once you become a
Mm.
people leader, it's the team is what's bringing you recognition. Their work is
Yes.
bringing you
Yes.
recognition. So
True.
you redirect your I guess output from your own to what they deliver, because they are now speaking for you. So if
Mm.
you focus on putting your energy into them and getting them to, then people say, man, your team did a great job. They look at you as like, wow, you're the one leading these people to perform at a great
Yes.
level. I appreciate what you're doing for them. So taking the focus is almost like indirect credit. The better they
Mm.
do, the better you look. The
True.
worse they look, the worse you look. And you can't then turn around and say, well, let me do all the work myself. First of all, you're going to burn out most likely. But it's just, to me, it's just always a bad look because you want people to shine. And my approach is I've had a leader tell me, because your team is young, they need
Mm.
more hand holding. I totally disagree with that. I'm like, it doesn't matter their age, it depends on their skill and how you
Mm.
coach them up. So I'm not going to turn around and handhold, micromanage at all. Doesn't matter what level you're at. I will give you more frequent coachings and want to see your output and review stuff, but I'm not getting involved with your business. I'm not attending your meetings. I'm not none of that. I want
Sure.
you to get up there and shine on your own. And I think this leads to the next question is what happens when leaders overreach
Mm.
and when they start to go back to, well, let me do it all myself, or start to get in the weeds. What do you think what happens when that happens, when people start to overreach and get into the weeds?
That's interesting. You looked at it as getting into the weeds. I didn't look at it this way necessarily. I
Look
think
at it.
when I think of overreach, I think of kind of going beyond your job and boundaries, right? So like
Yeah.
me going to tell another team what to do and how they should do things, right?
Oh, that could happen too. That could happen
Yeah.
too, which is never works out well.
No, I mean, but like, huh?
It's like, who are you?
Yeah, exactly, right? Um, and sometimes that really takes a lot of courage, and sometimes it works, right? And if it works, you're like, "Oh my god," Larry went there and kind of made this suggestion, and the team now all of a sudden is a success. Great. But the one time or any time that fails, that could be a career ender, right? Like it's all good as long as it works. But the minute you fail, guess what? The team that like now you overreached is gonna tell you, why are you doing this? They're gonna now try to, find ways to discredit you and make you fail and just be really good opposition now. So it's miserable. But you may do it one time and maybe successful, but the second time or third time you're going to fail, and it's going to be like almost a career ender at times.
Yeah.
But Interesting. Okay, that's where I kind of
But let's take
look
both.
at it.
If you went to another team and decide to try to influence, or let's say you went the other way and tried to
Mm,
micromanage and get into the weeds,
mm.
both of them leads us to the next one. How does this affect team trust? And I
Oh
think
yeah.
on my side, well, it's like, why are you getting involved in their business? Do you not trust them to do the right thing? And I've had a leader say, I don't like literally not trust your people, but why? Have they done something to lose your trust? So I remember being a part of a leadership
Mm,
team. And one of the first things that, like, I guess, trying to define a high performing team,
mm,
one of the first things that people wrote down is, well, trust. Like, I don't trust. And it was a new team, new leaders, fairly new working with each other.
hmm.
Everyone's like, I don't trust you, bottom line. But first of all, the facilitator blew past it. So I said, well, let's go back. Why don't you trust? Why is trust an issue? Then I asked the group, why do you not trust me? I've never worked with you before. Why would you off the bat not trust me if we've never worked? What have I done to lose your trust? And they couldn't really answer. They're just like, well, it's not that you haven't done anything. I just don't trust people like that. But why?
Uh,
Why? What's the problem? Because now you're going to get into the weeds or you're going to overreach. And it's like, for what reason? Like, let me earn the trust, or at least let me do something to lose the trust. But don't
that's
don't
true.
start in a neutral plane. It shouldn't be like,
Yeah.
well, off the bat, I don't like the way you look. I don't trust you.
Yeah, that's crazy. But like, I don't know, maybe I yeah, I don't know, man. I think I might be guilty of this stuff as well. To be honest with you. I think for me, I think like I trust is earned with me, like to some degree I trust people, but
Mhm.
like yeah, like it really takes a lot. I have to trust people. Like and it just takes getting to know the people, talking to people and just experiencing, right? Um and so you have to, but I also try to be proactive and put myself in positions to observe.
Yeah.
Um, and so maybe that's the difference. If I'm not being proactive and observing it and trying to, really understand
Mhm.
and trust a person, then yeah, it's kind of messed up because right off the bat, like I don't trust you, but I'm not doing anything to really validate if
Yeah.
if this trust is there or not, if that
Because I
makes
can
sense.
understand people starting at zero and you got to work your way
Yeah,
up. But if you don't trust someone, that's negative. Like,
that's
you
true.
already, and you got to get
Yeah.
to zero, then work your way up. So if it's,
That's
because then
true.
there's resistance, it's
Yeah.
like, it's almost like you're treating me like a threat. There's resistance,
Mm,
there's a wall up, and I got to work to overcome that. And then we can maybe start having a productive and fruitful working relationship and being true team members.
true.
Um,
Okay.
and and some people, I mean, I've seen it in different situations where they just never trust. Like, it's just constantly an us against them mentality. It's never
Mm,
truly being a collect, like within a team having sub departments, because there are different
yeah.
specialties, and never truly becoming one team, knowing that we're all here towards servicing someone else. It's just constant because we can never align, or
Yeah, that's true. That's
and it
exhausting.
just, it is. It's like,
Yeah,
man,
it really is.
it's weird. When you finish the end of the week, you're like, oh, I am freaking drained. I am drained. Like, when you get to the point where you're coming up in the office, and some of y'all may be able to relate, and you just like, this again,
So do
it's
you
just like,
now that you're saying, and it makes me wonder, there's some people that don't like confrontation, right?
mhm.
So like I don't have this issue. And so maybe yeah, I'm like all about yeah, like I'm just gonna get out and open, right? But
Yeah.
like some people may have a negative experience with a person, but
Mhm.
because they're non-confrontational, they don't approach to understand, right? And
Oh,
and it's not like if somebody's like, "Hey T, what you said kind of bothered me a little bit, like, but this is it's weird," or "Why is this?" And then that's good, because when you start having that discussion and understanding, right? And it's like, "Oh, I see," But if
Mhm.
if somebody had a bad experience with me and doesn't really address it just because they're not confrontational, doesn't like argument, then they may just dismiss me and just not trust me, you know? And to me, I did nothing wrong. And maybe I
Yeah.
did have a very valid point, but they never really took an opportunity to understand it, right? And so maybe that's what it is.
I mean, I think that happens more times than not where, you know, for example, let's say you're doing, maybe some rumor starts about you just because of
Mm.
some incident, completely false, but it
Mhm.
spreads as if it's the truth. And
Mm.
because of that, people then put up a wall against you. Like maybe you're
Mm.
trying to move in the company and they were like, oh, I heard about you. It's like, what did you hear?
Ah,
Because you
okay.
never came to me and talked. You never asked for
Yes.
clarification. You never
Yes.
sought to understand. You just passed judgment and that's it.
Yeah.
And I think that happens to a lot of people. And maybe they heard about an altercation, verbal thing, but they don't know the details. And all they know is, well, you said this, but what's the rest of it? What's the rest of the story? They
Yes.
get one
Yes.
side, that's it. You're
Yeah.
tainted meat. I'm not eating that. That's it.
That's crazy. It's communication. It really goes back, right? But I guess some
Yeah.
people don't like
And
to.
professionalism, which we talked about,
Yeah.
just talk about it, but it's just crazy
Mm.
the amount of unprofessionalism that is just is rampant in corporate
God.
America. I'm telling you, it's crazy.
Yeah. But I mean,
And
it's
it's
crazy.
everywhere. It's everywhere too. It's not like you're not going to avoid it, people. It's out there. Like you just got to do your best. That's what we're
No, you're
here. We're
sure.
trying. We're here for you. So just when in doubt, like let me see. Let me find an episode and we'll talk you through it. That's
Yeah.
all.
And honestly, it's these things are it's like a constantly learning. Where I mean, I'm constantly learning. Even like our discussions, like I'm always like taking something new away, that I haven't like thought about in a while, or like something new I didn't know at all. So this is
Yeah.
good, So yeah, I appreciate this as well. I mean, I'm getting something out of it as well, so it's
Yeah,
kind of
me
good.
too. I mean, I love talking through these things.
Yeah.
So, with what we said, how can leaders recalibrate? And I think this can be tough because
Mm.
if a leader doesn't know to begin with, so let's say they went from individual contributor, now they're in this space, they find that they're in the weeds, they're too tactical, they're doing all the wrong things, they're losing trust. How can they recalibrate? Well, they could take a step back and say, you know what, let me go back to what is my job? What should I be focused on? Where should my
Mm.
attention? Because to me, you would end up getting burned out being in everyone's space. And it's like, let me focus on that. The flip side is you let go of things that's not your business. But then
Mm.
if you let go, do you have the people in place to see those things through? And can you now go from being tactical to having more strategic focus and actually just coach and say, give people, coach them up, go forth, step away, do your job, pick up with them, coach, step away, do your job, and coach them through it. The gap is when they can't do that. So not only
Mm.
can you not step away, you don't even know how to coach because no one's ever taught you. So
Yeah.
then it's just, you're like in this limbo place where you don't talk to them, you don't provide direction. You're just like, oh, everything is good until it's not. And then
Yeah.
you might freak out, or maybe you want to just get rid of somebody. You want everyone. It's just you just chewed up. It
It's hard though, and
is
I'm
hard.
sure somebody's is in this space and is struggling with it. Um, but it's difficult. Like you get a reputation, and it's hard to shake off that reputation, right?
Yeah,
And that's the most difficult part. And yeah, I honestly don't have any good advice because I think it's hard to break that reputation other than just like keep your head down, you know, do your job and just kind of, I don't know, try to prove, the person that you are. I guess that's the thing about the military that I liked about, moving or doing something else every 2, 3 years. It's a lot of times like I got stuck in a way. I'm like, oh, like this is not good, where maybe I was too, early in my career as a manager, like I got too friendly.
Oh,
with my
that
team,
man,
and
that
it's
can bite
hard.
you. That can bite you. We're gonna jump on that real quick because some people do not understand the importance as a leader to have boundaries,
Hmm.
and that you cannot. I mean, in the military, we were family. So though you were in charge, at least from my perspective, we were still like we would get together. We were together all the time. So we
Yeah.
were together at work. We were together outside on the weekends. Like it was us all the time.
Hmm.
And but at the same time, you have to understand your role as a leader. People are still have to be held accountable, and they have to understand that that is your stance. I remember one time, and I may have shared this a few episodes back, where I literally had to write up people on a Friday, and they
Hmm.
turn around and say, "Yeah, I understand," because I made it clear it's by the book, and they still turn around and say, "You still coming to the barbecue tomorrow, right?" Of course, I am because they understand separating personal
Yeah.
and business, and they might joke around about it and be like, "Yeah, so Perry wrote me up yesterday. No, I'm just kidding. It's my fault, my fault. I know." And it's lighthearted, but you still gonna get
Yeah.
that paper. You still gonna get that work. you know,
Yeah.
but they understand it.
Mhm.
But I came to the civilian side, and you can't do that because if people will want favors, they'll
Yeah.
be bent out of shape as soon as you have to write them up, or it'll be difficult for you to write them up. And like once you start, I remember my wife had a friend wanted to get promoted, but was in the club with the same people. And she's like, you got to separate yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not a thing. But you all on social, you posting on social media and all this stuff, and then other people above you are looking at that because
Mm.
you didn't make it's public. So they're
Mhm.
like, oh, nah, you don't want to promote her, or him, because
Yeah.
they're in the club with those same people. It's not going to be, going to have favorites and all this stuff. My wife has never befriended people at work until she leaves the job. Then
Yeah.
she'll do. But she
Yeah.
keeps that boundary. And if they're not at your level, your peers, or maybe in a completely different department, they can't be your friend. I mean, not to that level. You can be friendly,
Mhm.
but as soon as you let that one person, oh, we catch the train every time together. Now we on vacation together, all of this stuff. Next thing you know, they getting the highest performance review out of everybody, even though they're a
Yeah.
rag bag, because I'm gonna hook you up because you're my girl, you're my boy. And it's like you can't do that.
Yeah. And so this kind of goes back to that question. I mean, sometimes you just have to, for me, sometimes just leaving a position has worked. Like I had to leave a position.
Yeah,
And that has worked well for me because sometimes I
yeah,
just find myself too deep and too stuck in certain things, whatever the scenario was.
yeah,
And like I was so happy to move on. Now out here in the regular world, that's not easy.
yeah. Oh
Um, and
no,
that's I haven't had to tackle that yet, but I'm kind of curious to see what happens.
yeah. But for those that are looking, like maybe you're in the space now where you've reached a point where it's too friendly because at some point something may go south.
Hmm.
And then it's like now you got to step up and to be that leader, and it can be real muddy because it's going to be like now they know stuff about you. You ran your mouth too much,
Oh
all of that stuff.
yeah.
Now they like, oh, we not
Yes.
cool. I'm letting it all out.
Oh,
Now you
oh
want to
my
chop the
God.
block? Yeah, you can't. It's like from the get go, people. If you are jumping into a new role, put up the boundary.
Mhm.
People might have your number to be like, hey, I'm gonna call in or something like that. But other than that, you know, don't get all buddy buddy because at some point, no, and it can be friendly. Like let's say, a wedding and they invite you, no problem, or a baby shower, they
Mm.
invite, no problem, things like that. But once you start really getting it where you singling out somebody, all chilling all the time, it's like if something goes south, it's gonna be very difficult, very difficult.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Just having that the conversation of saying, "Hey, we gotta be more professionals." Like, people
Oh
get, like,
yeah.
upset. They get
Yeah, they're
upset.
gonna be like, "What you mean?" Like,
Yeah.
"What? You're not going to like?" Because then what's gonna happen is, "Oh, I need a little bit longer for lunch. You got me covered,
Yeah.
or I don't have enough
Yeah.
leave. Can you just like maybe like fudge the numbers or whatever. And then
Mm.
if you're in there, now you're in too deep. Now
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like, man,
yeah.
we digress. But
That's another topic.
for real, it is. I'm telling you. All right.
Yeah.
So now jumping back into it, what role does ego play in leaders not operating at that level? And I know,
Mm,
I mean, I've seen it. They tend to kind of be like, I know everything, and I know what's best. And now they start to
mm,
tell people how to do their job because, oh,
yeah,
I've done it before. Here's
yeah.
the best way to do it.
Hmm.
For me, I don't care how I've done it before. Things change. You are new in the role. You may have a different perspective. I'm not going to dictate how you do your job. All I care about is outcomes. That's it. So I'm a coach. Here's the desired outcome. Here's a due date. How you get there, I don't really care, but I'm still going to check in. What's going on? How you going about it? You may ask. I'll give you feedback. You take
Hmm.
it. You might be like, "Oh, I'm going to spin it a different way." Cool. As long as customer service is fine, people are happy, and you get the desired outcome, I don't care. But some people, their ego is so they gonna let everyone know in a meeting. No, I know everything because I'm gonna question everybody about all of their business, and it's not my business, but I'm gonna do it anyway because I know.
Yeah, crazy. Ego makes you do things you wouldn't normally do, like everything you listed, just never admitting that, you're wrong or never admitting somebody else is better. Yeah, not listening to others. Yeah,
Yeah,
ego's
just
crazy.
falling back. Yeah,
Yeah.
fall back. Don't run your mouth. Let everyone else talk, and that's it. You just in too. You just in the business too much. It's like why?
Yeah, but it's crazy, man. Ego. Why is it has such a big control on us? It's really weird.
I don't know.
Hmm.
It's almost like, like going back to that praise and always being recognized. And then you get out there and you want to let everyone else know, like, this is why I'm at the level I am because I know it all. I've done this. And I'm going to make sure all of you know it. And it's like, and so they like hearing themselves talk and they want to question everything. And did y'all
Yeah.
do this? Did you make sure of that? Well, tell me how you're doing this. And did you write that down? And it's like, geez,
Sneaks up
just
on you.
allow.
Yeah.
So when it
So
does, how do you catch that early though? How do you recognize that as an individual? Because I see people and it's like they don't know. Like unless somebody's telling them like you need to fall back, they are like in their own. They're in space and everybody's here on Earth.
it's interesting. It's just something crossed my mind. So I have a friend who goes to silent retreats,
Mm,
and he said the most difficult part is controlling your ego, your voice,
mm,
your inner voice. So like, you're trying, it's a silent retreat, so you're not saying anything, but you're trying to clear your mind. And these silent retreats, I guess they had their fasting as well. And I don't know, I'm not sure the details, but it's kind of like you're quiet, you're fasting.
mm,
And he says there's always you're trying to control that voice in your head that tells you, why you're doing this. You shouldn't be doing this. You should go eat, or you should go drink, or you should, talk. Or so like there's always something whenever there's discomfort, or whatever, this voice comes out and tells you what to do. Um, and he said the silent retreat, he tries to control that voice. And I
mm,
think with the silent retreats, you start identifying it, right? Because I think that's the hardest part because sometimes it's just ego comes out and not even knowing it. And you find yourself like a jerk, right? And like, I didn't mean to say that. Um, but yeah, so the silent retreat says it gives him a little bit more control and it gives him awareness of how to control that voice in the back of your head. It's interesting. So it makes me wonder if he thinks, when he's uncomfortable or angry at a person, if he's able to notice that voice come on, right before it comes on,
mm,
kind of like shut it down. So I
mm,
don't know, maybe there's something to it, but I don't know. My inner
mm.
voice can't do it. I don't think I can be quiet. Mm.
I mean, sometimes like it's just like about to unleash the beast and that's it because it's like my
Oh, that's
goodness.
true.
But what is Like, how does an ego impact performance?
Yeah, it's all downhill, bro. There's ego's rarely ever a good thing when it comes out.
To me, I think it could stifle another a team's performance because they're going to be like, well, you're going to tell us how to do it anyway, so why do I need to
Ah,
really be
yeah.
creative? Why do I really even need to present anything where you're just going to be like, no, you should do it this way?
Um,
Well, no. And it's just like you want something to pick apart. Like, it's not like you're going to create anything new. But if I create something,
mm,
you just going to be like, no, no, and really just dictate the whole thing. Well, then do I need to put forth a whole bunch of effort to make something
mm.
which I think would be the best product that I can create when you just go and make it your own? Well, then I might as well half-ass it and then let you say it anyway.
Man, here's another way of looking at it.
All right, drop it on me.
Ego could be used against you, right? I'm sure. I don't know. I've seen bosses that love themselves and love to say, like, "Ah, this was great. I did this," or love to hear themselves speak, right? And they just want to be praised. Guess what? Like, if you catch on to that, like now I could, praise this leader and get whatever I want, right? Because that's what they want to
Mhm.
hear. And so,
Oh,
it's interesting. They'd be like, "Oh, such and such, great decision. I think you're right in what you're saying, or I think that was a good point, right?" So now they see an ally in you, but really
mm,
you're manipulating them, right? You're
oh,
manipulating the boss in a way, and to get what you want out of them, or to get
mm,
favors. So I think that's
mm.
the dangers of ego that others can use against you.
Damn, very true. So how would the leader above them, like how should leaders, if they just see someone with a big ego, and I think you've mentioned this before, but how do they intervene? Like, I
Yeah.
mean, for one, they got to be either listening to feedback or in the same meetings where they can see it and hear about it.
Mhm.
But what do they do?
I think we've talked about this, and I think we have similar approaches, right? I think you pay attention to patterns and behaviors of people. Just try to identify if there is an issue, right? And then once you identify that if there is an issue, it's kind of take them in and talk to that person one on one. It's like, hey, listen, great performer, but your ego is coming across as a jerk, or you're not coming across as a team player, or that's how others perceive you, right? And then
Mhm.
you kind of once you try to show them that how they're being perceived, because sometimes people don't know. um, Hopefully you encourage them to kind of go back to their peers or their subordinates and say, hey, you know, now that you're aware of this, you need to go back and just kind of mend those relationships a little bit, because people do not like you. I mean, just I would have to be pretty blunt with the person. People do not like you. You're coming across as rude and know it all. You may not mean it, but that's how you're coming across. And I'd probably kind of you'd have to go back and earn the trust of your peers and your subordinates, and talk to them about it. I think that's the best way in my eyes. What are you thinking?
No, I agree with you. As you're talking, though, the thing I think about is
Mm.
what happens if they don't? So what
Ah,
happens if you're coaching them and you're like, look, you need to get off your high horse.
oh,
You need
okay.
to do this, and they don't. Like you're trying to intervene, you're trying to coach them, which that's what a senior leader should do, just as you
Mhm.
said. What happens if it's just like they don't? Their ego is just so. Do you then document it? Do you actually write them up? Do you? And
I
then it's
mean,
like, look,
yeah.
at the end of the day, if this is impacting the rest of the team,
Mhm.
trust, like you're becoming, your ego is turning into what we may want to call as toxic. And then it's like
Mm.
at a certain point, we're gonna have to love you from afar and send you on your way.
No, I agree. I think you try to carrot first, right? Just coaching and mentoring, and
Mhm.
then it's the stick. It's yeah. I don't see a problem with that. Not one
Yeah.
bit.
No, me either. And so I guess we'll finish with this then. What systems prevent this issue? To me, in the military, I think the schoolings that we go to help to not so much the
Oh,
ego, but I think going back to our ultimate point of operating at your level, I
mm,
think this is what kind of helps you because you stay in your lane. In military, we always say, scan your lane. So you stay in your lane, you focus on your job. Now that doesn't mean that you won't have an ego in your job, and and maybe the leader has
mm,
to at least say something about that. But I think as you're moving into a leadership space, one of the best things you could do is probably have a coach. I don't know that you could go to take classes and courses and things like that. But as you put those things into practice, I think a coach can help to help reel you back in where you're like, hey, this is what I'm going to do this upcoming week or whatever. Here's the things I'm
mm,
facing with employees or leaders. And if it's someone that's really been in a space, really owned leadership, they can kind of help coach you through that, where it's like,
mm.
maybe you want to give a little bit, but not too much, and kind of help you, navigate the situation.
Yeah, no, you're right. Um, I look at it a little different. I like coaching, but I think
Hmm.
not everybody has that. I guess they could have mentors, right? So a mentor could
Yeah,
coach you as well. That's true.
yeah,
But I think there's already a system in place that people would probably do not use and do not like using is a 360 feedback. I'm a believer in it, honestly. Although I am scared of it. That's the other way
really.
to say it. Yeah. Like, I mean, it's scary in a way because it's like, yeah, yeah, how am I gonna take feedback, you know? It's
Yeah,
it's
that's
it's
that's,
not
that's tough.
easy, you know?
Yeah,
That's the hardest part about it, and I think that's why a lot of people just don't do it because 'cause I'm like, "Man, I do not wanna know." They suck at something.
yeah, especially when you think that you're doing a great job. Like I
Yeah.
would think that, like for me, I've learned to take feedback. Where
Mhm.
I'm just like, okay, okay, but I
Yeah.
also know and you can always get better. And
Mm,
I'm sure I can always do better, even in my current state. I'm sure there's like,
mhm.
you can always, but I think I'm a very effective at what I do. So when someone's like, I mean, in the military, I was bad at this, man. I would flip out if somebody told me I did something wrong or they didn't like it. Man, I would
Yeah.
be pissed. I'll
I'm
tell you a
sure.
story. We got a little time. I
Yeah.
remember we were about to prep for going to the field. So for those that
Mhm.
don't know the field, you're going out there and you're playing board games basically out
Mhm.
in some wood line somewhere. So I'm prepping. We got alerted. So I'm going up and down this hill, literally up and down the hill, prepping, getting everything staged, ready to go out.
Mm.
I get everything, think I did a great job. So then this master sergeant, and I was a staff sergeant at the time, I may have told the story. He comes down, he looks at everything, and I mean, I'm thinking it is great. And he comes down and he says, Sergeant, you didn't earn your money today. This is not what I was expecting. This should have been like this, and all of this, and just digs into it.
Oh,
And I'm
really?
like, yeah. And I'm just shocked. And I got so mad. And I was like, what? I've been and I'm yelling. I'm like, I've been up and down this hill like all day long, prepping this, that, all of these things while he's been sitting in the office. And I went off, and I was another staff sergeant next to me. She's grabbing my hand, like yanking it, like, be quiet, because he's two ranks higher. And after I said everything I had to say, he was like, all right, Sergeant, I'll let you have that one. And I said, you're gonna let me have this one and any other one I have. I was so mad. So I could have, I mean, for those that don't know military ranks, I could have been hemmed up for sure. For
Yeah.
going off yelling at him, that would have been I could have easily got demoted. And but I was just like, nah, you're not doing this to me.
That's interesting. So I wonder if he saw you as you being too cocky and he's trying to put you down a peg or two. That could
It
be
might
it.
have been.
That's
It could have
probably
been it. Could have been it. But I mean, I prided myself on literally being the best. And maybe he was. But I was like,
exactly. I can see it
yeah,
because
and
you're cocky.
I was like, nah, dude, I did my job. I don't know what the hell you talking about.
And probably that's why he was kind of cool about it, honestly.
I
This
mean,
this
yeah,
makes sense to be think about it, honestly.
yeah,
Yeah, he was
but
kind of putting your ego in check.
he did. I mean, I was, yeah. But to your point, like feedback, the 360, yeah. I mean, you got to willing to
Oh,
embrace that though, and see that's the
yeah.
point I'm going to now. I will truly, I mean, as long as it's supported with, for me, I got to the point with facts. If you can
Mm,
say, here is 100% how. What I don't want is hearsay, people said, nah, that's not going to cut it
man.
for me. Like, unless the people are doing 360 feedback and the
Mm,
people are giving it to me, then no. Or someone told me, someone out of how many, that's not going to cut it. Someone is
yeah,
one. Please try again. And you're
yeah.
just going to have your ducks in a row. You got to have clear examples. And sometimes they don't, and it is just perception and this kind of thing. But I want
Mm,
something that I can measure, I can look back on, I can improve from, and deliver a
mm,
different outcome. Because if you're saying in meetings, you tend to, okay, so now I can look back at those meetings, I can reflect on it, and say, okay, next time I go in these meetings, I know I need to take a different approach. Or when we're in a group session, you tend to, and it's happened on these separate occasions. Okay, dang, I can reflect on it. All right, I got something to work with. Or maybe in a best case scenario, someone actually that was participating in it outside of my chain comes to me and say, hey, you know what? The way you said that in the meeting, I mean, it just came off really harsh, or you were unprepared, or something. Like,
mm.
I'm just giving you as friendly advice. Damn. Okay, all of that you could work with.
Yeah,
But if
that's true.
it's like hearsay and all of this stuff, it's like, what am I supposed to do with
That's
that?
very
How am I
true.
measuring that? How can I improve from that where it's not concrete? You don't have any examples of when. It's like, what am I going to do with that?
Yeah. I mean, now if somebody heard something and was like, "Hey, Larry, I heard this, just FYI," you know?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's different.
that's
That's
yeah.
different. Yeah, that can happen. But I'm talking about like if
Mm.
you get in like maybe a performance review or something, and
Oh,
it's
yeah,
not
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's like, no, man,
Yeah.
what can I do with that? Because
That
I,
goes
I
back
want
to
to get
yeah. Yeah,
comes
that's
back to what?
crazy to me. People don't confront stuff like at the beginning, you know? Okay, you
No,
heard something, why don't you say something now? Why are you waiting this long to bring it up? It's so like you've been pissed off for the past 2
8
months.
months, yeah, whatever, yeah,
Like, this would have been easily solved. Like this is a misunderstanding. Like you would have solved like the day of.
yeah, yeah. And it's like, and I mean, I've had people come up months later, and it's
Yeah,
like,
that's crazy.
why am I just now hearing about this? I
Yeah,
mean, if it wasn't important then why is it important now? It's like, let's just keep it moving.
that's true. That's a good point. Yeah, if it's not important then, why is it important now? Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true. Hmm.
I don't know. So we're wrapping it up. Leaders not
Mhm.
operating at their level. So people out there listening, have you encountered leaders not operating at their level? What impact has it had on you? Of the topics we've covered, are you one of those leaders that find yourself like, dang, I might need to check my ego? maybe they're talking to me. Are we hitting you in the heart? Are we talking to you? Don't be shy. Drop a comment. Let us know. Because I mean, can you admit to it? Maybe that's the
Yeah,
first step. Can you even admit to it and be like, dang, I'm guilty of it? But
yeah,
then it's how are you going to recalibrate? What does the impact have on you, your team, those around you, cross functionally? And some people, you know what? They got the ego. People in the office, they walk around, their nose is up here, and you
yeah,
can't tell them anything
yeah,
until they're no longer with us. And then it's like, oh, I guess I should have
yeah.
listened. And sometimes that happens.
Mm,
People end up getting terminated, and that's when reality hits.
that's
And when they
true.
go into the next one, they're like,
That's true.
I'm not going to go in there like I did before. But
Yeah. So you got to be open for feedback too, right? Like if people don't see you as an approachable person that welcomes feedback, then yeah, you're
mhm,
not going to find out until you're fired, right? And that's too late.
yeah, very true. All
Yeah.
right.
by the
Thanks for
way.
tuning in. Oh, go ahead. I'm not. Go ahead. By the way,
I think your sergeant must have known my drill sergeant back in the
really?
day. Oh yeah.
Why is that?
My first Army physical fitness test was
Uh-huh.
in basic training. Now,
Mm,
mind you, I knew I was going to basic training like almost a year out. Like I signed up that early.
wow.
And I was like running push-ups, sit-ups. Like I swear I could do 100 push-ups before I even got to basic training.
Damn.
And this drill sergeant, man, he must have seen my ego a mile away because he was watching me do push-ups. He goes, one, one. He was
Mental breaker right there. It's gonna break you.
man,
You're literally, it goes from your brain to your muscles. They now in
yes.
shock. They hurt.
Yes. Oh man, I went from doing 100 push-ups for basic training, I think down to like maybe 20 something because he did not count that many. And I gotta admit, it was my ego was there because I knew, right? Like I knew I could do push-ups, man. So yeah, I don't know what it is. Back old school people used to just kind of like want to take you down a notch like that. That's kind of
Oh,
messed up.
I mean, yeah, they used to want to bring you to, humble you a little bit. But I
Yeah,
know 100% people, if you, once they say one, 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 go to
yeah.
your knees, man, it's like you are just pushing. Now, the next time you start back up, you're going to feel this pain in your chest and your arms you didn't have before. You're like, what happened?
Man.
And you barely going to be able to make what you could make before. Forget
Yes.
it.
Yeah, anger. Oh my God, just
Oh, yeah.
kills it.
So pissed. You looking at them like you're the problem.
That's true.
I need another reviewer. Get out of here.
Oh my God, that is so true. Man, that's back in the day. Well, thanks for bringing that memory. I
Yeah.
enjoyed that. That's good.
All right. All right. Well, there it is. Well, thanks for tuning in to Command and Corporate. If today's episode gave you value, do us a favor. Share with a colleague or teammate who's ready to step into leadership. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Connect with us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts for more leadership insights and resources. Until next time, lead with clarity, lead with purpose, and always remember, mission first, people always. And we will catch you next time.
Later. Thanks, Larry.